Ragnarok has got wins before we even get into the game. Bear McCreary is an absolute master and had me stuck swapping this tile to hear the theme while waiting for the midnight release. And it really just sets the tone for what is to come. At least, what we expect to come. Kratos dying, the Nine Realms being destroyed, prying Mjolnir from Thor's cold, dead hands. You get me. Gotta say, I'm really falling in love with how big of a push Sony's first-party studios are making with the staggering amount of accessibility features. Really made the game so much more enjoyable with things like traversal assist and auto pickup. Wow, even the recap is done as part of the one-shot camera, framed as Kratos reminiscing about the past. Which seems like he's doing anyway with how he's holding the bag that held Faye's ashes. This is the first, and most definitely won't be the last time I praise Christopher Judge's performance as Kratos. It would not be the same without him. Just so desperately wanting to hold Faye one last time, but can't. Bear really went to the Lord of the Rings school of crafting a score and dialed it up to 11. We've got our main motifs for the previous game and a host of new ones, all beautiful and perfect for their moments. Music is so powerful, and this game would not be the same without the score backing it. I caught myself crying listening to Reb's Lament the other day. And if I'm being honest, since Ragnarok has released, that song is the one thing that got me through writing this script, as this game left me speechless. I haven't known what to say about it that'll do it justice. But we all know perfection isn't achievable, and this game certainly isn't, but damn is it perfect to me. Can we just admire the drip of his cloak that Freya so rudely removes not even 5 minutes into the game? Freya may have been able to forgive the murder of her son, but I will never forgive her for taking away my man's drippy cloak. I don't care if it would have covered Mimir's head, I want it back! God of War Ragnarok has got some of the most effective visual storytelling I've seen of late, which is a necessity if you're going to do a one-shot camera. Can't leave anything on the table, lest you're wasting your biggest tool. Couple that with everything always being in frame, everyone has to be on all the time. Our boy doesn't need daddy to join him in the direction of deer anymore. They grow up so fast. He brings them deer, he brings them arrows. A fair trade. And also completely representative of their natures at the moment, which is a core theme in Ragnarok. Kratos preparing for war, battle, being the god of war, and Atreus bringing in food to break bread, laugh, and bring people together. Peep the mistletoe arrowhead. That's totally not going to piss someone off later.
I'll get them ready.
God, my poor stupid brain. When I write these, I've of course already played, so I know he's talking about the wolves, but now I'm imagining if he just had Brock and Sindri tied up to the sled. It's not even funny, but I found it amusing. You may be wondering, why does Kratos' axe look like a little bitch again? Where's all my powers? All my magic! Well, my sweet summer child, Mimir mentions to Kratos that Fimbulwinter has been powering him down and sapping his abilities. Keeping with my Brock and Sindri idea, Santa Monica even plays a variation of the Dwarves theme, so it was probably originally them the whole time, but cut and left the music as an Easter egg for the people like us that truly understand the way of things. The real reason why they ditched the cloak, Santa Monica said, building a whole physics sim for one piece of armor. Probably.
Ready.
They're the cutest. It really is something coming off recently playing the first game and getting to see all the growth for Kratos be on full display right away.
I hope Fenrir got some sleep.
Gosh, hearing Fenrir is when I knew things were gonna get fun in this game. The first game is a very intimate father-son story with Norse gods as a backdrop. This time, we are thrown in the deep end of a greatest hits list of Norse myth. I mean, hell, they even got Ratatasker up in this bitch. I only knew him and wasn't too surprised by him because I play Smite, but I sure as shit believe some people lost their rockers at the Goofy Squirrel.
It is high.
God, I love how Freya's formed like a horror movie villain. Jason Voorhees looking ass. Jesus Christ, I am blown away by all the detail crammed into this game. It looks unbelievable. Seeing this in person at 4K HDR is otherworldly. This is our expected opening boss fight for a God of War game, so when we didn't actually end up fighting, I was a little more than curious on who to be. Atreus poking his head out like a Scooby-Doo or something.
We gotta get away from her!
I'm trying. Dad, I have you.
Right away in these opening moments, we really feel and see that they're a team now with equal respect for each other.
Your enemy!
Along with the game looking stunning, Danielle Basutti is giving it her all and it shows. Constantly are there frames in this game that could be marketing posters. Or, in other words, just shot beautifully.
I will get the deer.
Gosh, Kratos being a proud little dad is the best. And in a way, seeing Atreus like this makes us feel like a proud dad too. We kind of raised him as well, right? The real opening boss battle of the game is having to watch a good boy die.
I'll be okay. You can let go now.
Damn, does everything point to Kratos dying in the end? And Santa Monica knew what we were expecting. This scene literally is Kratos teaching him how to deal with the death of a loved one as they pass in your arms, just like the prophecy literally showed Kratos in Atreus' arms.
We train.
What? No. It's the middle of the night.
Atreus really being grown enough to put his foot down to Kratos is a sight to see. After watching them interact in this game, it's quite strange to go back to the first one, in all honesty. We didn't just watch Atreus grow either. We got to see Sonny Suljic grow in a way too, as he was only a kid in God of War, but surprise, surprise, he grew too, and we get to see all of that in his performance. Also, just love how much Atreus looks like Sonny. I mean, just look at him.
We can't hide forever.
We do not hide.
I am not going to shut up about the growth these two have gone through. I was somewhat expecting a "watch your tone, boy" out of Kratos, but we get a fair, equal conversation out of him instead.
I will not allow you to pick a fight with gods.
I don't know, Kratos. You looking real feisty with that Arthur-looking fist.
I don't want to fight anyone. I just want answers.
Sounds a lot like a certain mob boss you're about to be, hence why he's quite inclined to work with Odin. There were complaints before Ragnarok were released that it doesn't look any different from 2018. When I first stepped back into 2018 a couple weeks ago, you notice immediately the difference, mostly in the texturing, and you appreciate the bump found here for sure. Combined with the very subtle vignette placed around the screen gives Ragnarok a markedly cinematic feel compared to the first game. Think Season 1 Game of Thrones versus Hot D. I was wondering where Mimir went. Glad to see he's a part of the family now. Really was expecting Brock and Sindri to create him some kind of body. I mean, if they can make new hair for Sif, then they can make a full body prosthetic. Using a spoon to turn pages. Ingenuity, I suppose.
Well, I recognize that dour expression anywhere.
Mimir always keeping it real.
Care to tell me what went wrong?
The wolf is gone.
Going from quiet head to about our feelings and being roomies.
He goes to bury him.
Oh, damn it.
I can only imagine this is an issue since it seems customary in Norse myth to burn the deceased, referenced by Kratos burning his hand on the candle. And of course, like, you know, Faye and Brock. Santa Monica had to get real creative to have these dream sequences that feel natural with the one-shot camera, and they pulled it off seamlessly. First the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, and now God of War? Who would have expected Karen Page to have so much game? Who am I kidding? I would. Love Deborah Ann Wool. Glad to see her in more things. There's a host of things I did not expect to see, and actually getting to see Faye is one of them.
You walk as though Emir himself sits atop your shoulders.
Funny to see that she's the one who trained him to go in the direction of deer. And Emir is what Odin created the world out of, literally tearing apart his body to craft Midgard. So in other words, the entire fate of the world sits upon Kratos' shoulders, which for the fate of the Nine Realms, it really does.
Predators kill. It is the natural order of things.
Your words are misguided.
All it takes is that one special person in your life to completely change who you are and will be. Faye bookends Kratos' journey into making his own fate. Get it? Fate.
We want to help, don't we?
Faye really be looking at Kratos like, I didn't forget about Zeus.
If we have the power to limit the harm it could cause, we should act.
Who said an old dog can't learn new tricks?
Time is running out, my love.
It was a handprint that started the main plot of the first game, having her handprint cut down the production stave. And once again, we've got her using her handprint to give Kratos a nice little scare and spring him into action. Thank you, Santa Monica, for having restraint with the adaptive triggers. Other games, I was really noticing some fatigue while playing when it's constant.
You don't mean to say you're talking to ghosts again, brother?
Yo, why you gotta bring up Athena like that? Just like I mentioned about that restraint, we've only got a little bit of pushback on the triggers when throwing the axe. That, as always, feels great. You may be wondering why there's an insane amount of wall shimmies and ducky doos. It's actually not for loading screens, as I'm sure you assumed. It's for timing certain conversations and locking us into combat arenas naturally, instead of doing their old tried and true magical barrier from nowhere.
Brother, that Atreus can handle himself. You've taught him well.
Gosh, that made me all fuzzy inside.
Atreus, where are you?
Well, you did ask where he was. Was expecting Bjorn to be some big creature out of Norse myth, but no. The word just translates to bear. We are just fighting bear. Not that one.
Oh, you've done it now, Bear!
Thanks for the cheerleading, Mimir. We all need a hype man like him. Peep it, though. Atreus really did give Kratos a run for his money. Enough that he had to rage back at his rage. Yay! We got our God of War opening boss fight beating the dog shit out of our son. Worth it! Holy shit. Not even his god healing could remove the bruise Kratos left on his neck from that hit.
Answers only your mother had.
Speaking of her, here's her ex.
Stop thinking like a father for a moment and start thinking like a general.
No!
The weight of that no has so much gravity, it even sucked the camera in. Little does Loki understand what he's asking of Kratos, and just through two no's, Atreus knows everything he needs to. The journal from the first game is written from Atreus' perspective. Now we get to see Kratos' unfiltered thoughts. Read through it. There's some really funny entries.
Say the word, father.
We started with shooting in the direction of deer, and now it's murdering humans. They grow up so fast. There's a really interesting theme between Kratos and Atreus of one being a bear and the latter a wolf. Bears abandon their young to be raised by the mother and stay solitary, very similar to Kratos in God of War. Wolves are pack animals, sticking together. Something that we see Atreus teach Kratos, as by the end of the game, we've got this giant pack that follows them into Ragnarok. Atreus right now is transforming into a bear because he's confused, struggling between his/Faye's beliefs and those of his father's. Turning into a bear uncontrollably as being a lone wolf hiding is not in his nature. Atreus killed this mother in his uncontrolled rage and has doomed these cubs to death, just how his father doomed Greece to death in his rage.
Storms are coming.
Or a certain god of thunder. This is exciting for those who have seen the Thor cutscene at the end of God of War. It is shot for shot of the cinematography of that cutscene, and we know exactly what is coming because of it. And just continuity. Can't believe they had this little meat planned out so far in advance. That's how you do it, Lucasfilm.
Can I come in? I have meat.
Thor smashing us expectation subversion. Plus, Thor's first words are one of his biggest flaws. The little alcoholic. It's hard to make it up, but Kratos said, hide my mirror. Smart, since stealing him from Odin sure is to not go over well. I thought Thor's size was just because of the camera framing him so close, but no, Thor is a chunky boy. I like it. I love Thor's design. He's not some chiseled god of sexy perfection. He's a gluttonous, battle-hungry, petty god of thunder, perfectly in line with how he actually is in the myths.
Nice place.
Sure you do like it since you did some remodeling. Kratos sets the axe down so gently, and it still creates a boom about as loud as Mjolnir. It really was created to counter the hammer. In addition, I can't imagine how heavy that axe actually is. It makes me think how Sindri struggled to carry it next to Thalmor, making me believe him a weak little boy. But no, it's heavy.
Just being polite.
Despite Thor bringing the mead, he doesn't actually take a drink, since at this point he's still trying to quit for Sif and Thrud.
You seem like a calm and reasonable person.
It really blew my mind that most of the trailer footage are things from the opening hour of the game. Easy to mark your title, but every minute is dripping with greatness.
You know who I am?
Odin is hands down the best adaptation of all the Norse gods. Richard Schiff and lead writer Rich Galberry created an Odin unlike anything we've seen before, and one we wouldn't expect. He's not the booming voice of wisdom and benevolence like Marvel would have us believe. He's a cunning, scheming little mob boss that runs his family like a mafia. Along with his stature, he doesn't need to be large and imposing in size and voice to command respect like Thor. The softer, more light-hearted tone he has brings a large sense of unease, such as you don't know what he's going to do moment to moment, and can never really tell if he's being genuine. And talk about no time wasted. We spent all last game hoping and begging to see Thor and Odin, and Santa Monica's like,
it's on your doorstep, how about that?
The opening of both Ragnarok and 2018 both utilize Alfred Hitchcock's famous quote about a bomb being beneath a table. Say you have two people talking, all of a sudden, boom! A bomb goes off, and surprises the shit out of us. That's what we got with Baldur's entrance. Now take that conversation and show the bomb under the table at the start of the conversation. Now the scene is ripe with tension. Thor and Odin are both that bomb in this scene that we are just waiting to go off. Hitchcock stated that the former is less effective than the latter, but I'll disagree, as once Baldur ate that punch, I shit my pants knowing something was up. Santa Monica knows their craft. It's also just like the opening to Inglourious Basterds with Hans.
What you did to his boys. Self-defense.
Even Kratos is taken aback like, who in the hell is this guy?
What you did to his boys. Let's be honest, they were kinda useless. But Baldur, he had value.
And along with that mob boss mentality, a mafia treats their members like family. Odin barely treats his kin like actual family, and talks about them based on how they can police the realms. Baldur's the fixer, Thor's the muscle, Magni and Modi were the useless idiots thinking they're hot shit because they're Thor's sons. You get it.
but he had his uses and now he's gone because of you. You follow me?
He even talks like it's the modern day.
I'll let you keep the prisoner that I know you stole.
Something I didn't mention in the God of War video is how Kratos is being groomed to be the true All-Father of this land. You'll notice Kratos is able to replace each Norse god, blows a horn like Heimdall is supposed to, has the strength and a weapon to recall like Thor, and in the end becomes worshipped and serves to protect and build like Odin should have. Hell, instead of Odin having Mimir's head for counsel, Kratos has him instead.
My old partner in crime.
He's lost weight.
Jealous, Thor?
Here's a deal I know you can trust. I'll settle your debt with my ex. Your boy, safe. So what do you say?
No.
I love that. Odin talking and talking and talking. Kratos only needs one word to all his prattling. Also, made me chuckle. And maybe it is a good deal, but he knows Odin's true nature, and Kratos will never make a deal with a god again after Ares.
About time.
Thor's gonna snap to bring Mjolnir to him, and I like to think it's to contrast Kratos just extending his hand. Aesir gods are all vain and attention-seeking, and what better way to recall the world's most powerful weapon than just a simple snap of your fingers? Bet Thor even used it as a line. I could kill you with a snap of my fingers.
Now show me this god killer I've heard so much about.
Thor really is just speaking for the audience. Neat, the axe has got to take its time to travel back. Would have never expected to be a part of the boss fight. We're Kratos. We are the boss that has phases this time. Just wait till we get to the second phase of the axe, Thor.
Know what I'm capable of. Show me!
Damn, did he? That wound never heals on Thor because 1, Kratos is a bad bitch, and 2, remember the axe has been imbued with Aether, poison from Yorm that can kill Thor. Thor's quick with it though. For how he looks, he fights way better than I would have assumed.
Sorry about your statue, Tyr, you preachy old stiff.
Ironic coming from you. Kratos straight up blocks and holds Mjolnir for a few seconds, a hammer that even Thor has to wear gauntlets to lift. That alone would be enough to make me apologize to turn the other way.
Oh, dumbass!
Honestly though, I'm glad this duology has more of a modern way of speaking.
Oh no. I say when we're done.
Oh my freaking god, 4th wall break. Games that go all Scarecrow Arkham Asylum will never get old. And Thor canonically killed Kratos. Like, that was it. Could have just ended the game there, but hubris is the downfall of many.
And a little known fact about Mjolnir is that it can bring goats back to life. So, you know, Kratos is the goat confirmed.
Look at you!
He's got a thunder clap.
It's remoting!
That'd be a bricks moment for me if I was Thor. A weapon that can stand up to Mjolnir, unstoppable force, and movable object.
You put him last, even in death.
The f you say?
See what I mean? So good. This is some I probably said this week.
This feels familiar.
For those of you not in the know, Faye and Thor fought before, and she also froze a lightning strike of his.
I see why my sons fell to you.
Complimenting her son's murderers. And who said Thor was a terrible guy?
And your boy, Allfather, has plans for him.
You know I gotta win the freaking sauce!
At least it was good to see the axe hold her own. Kind of the point, after all.
Brock and Sinjiri are just waiting for the day, and I've got secondhand pride hearing him say that.
Oh yeah? And what's to stop the all from spying on you?
Never change, Brock. Never change.
Are you hurt?
Are you?
Nah, we good. Just died and got defibbed back.
Why were you searching for Tyr?
Shit, so much just went down, I completely forgot about that little tidbit. Kratos doesn't miss a thing.
Kill.
Hey, over the years, Atreus did teach Kratos how to read Norse. It's something to see Atreus go from riding piggyback to taking the lead in traversal. Clever, clever, Santa Monica. This is actually Kratos holding Yellowhorn and the Draupnir spear to throw us off on who this actually could be. And we don't see Atreus because by the end of the story, he's exited stage left.
Do you see who's leading the armies against Odin? That's Tyr.
Well, the God of War. Close enough, bud. Well, it actually most likely is Tyr, since this is the Jotnar prophecy, and Tyr mentioned wanting a spear for his weapon in Ragnarok. Kratos gets a spear of his own, thus replacing that god as well, just like the others. And also Atreus isn't present in this one. On the shields, we can see the runes of the realms that will be united, but we only have Alfheim, Svartalfheim, and Jotunheim. With Faye changing things and Kratos learning from her, he's able to reconcile with Freya, who is instrumental in bringing in Vanaheim, and Hildisvini, who brings in Helheim. And with Kratos changing things and getting Brock killed, we don't get to see the dwarves at the final battle. Love looking back at these things to see how it all changed and why. Choosing to be better changed everything in this little gold movie theater.
That's it then. Tyr's and Svartalfheim somewhere, imprisoned in a mine. So, what now?
He's so cute and giddy to be right and lead his first quest. Oh my god, we aren't forced down the chain when kicking it. Thank you!
You okay fighting without a shield?
It is not my first time.
Non-flashbacks.
If we could find a way to open roam travel to Svartalfheim, I bet there'd be all sorts of useful equipment for us to...
Enough. We will go.
Atreus spoken like a true kid, trying to make it sound like the adult's idea to get what they want.
Now, if you would just wipe your feet very thoroughly, I'll wait.
Say hello to my favorite new motif of the game, and one that is going to make us all cry later.
Kratos? Snack?
I do not need a snack.
Not even Christopher Judge can make Kratos sound hard saying that.
It looks like that. I blame you.
Corey Barlog said there was a small list of things that had to happen in this game, and it was that Brock had to die. They referred to him as killing the family dog, and I'm still torn up about it. He's too funny.
Looks like Fimbulwinter's been hard on our girl.
Even Brock explains why the upgrades faded between games.
This device here has been crafted to your measurements.
Oh, that's why they were measuring his noggin.
I'll show you permanent damage, you wee f***. Kratos, throw me at him. Horns first.
And I bet Kratos would, given Sentry's been a little snaky snake.
Everything. It's warm.
This is exactly what we wanted from Ragnarok. The more varied environments is what edges it out from 2018. Plus the vibe of Svartalfheim with using a host of new instruments for the dwarves is just f***ing great.
Did you just say...
Woman, guard the house. I will go to catch fish in the river.
and then leave for 5 days?
Atreus gets it.
The smell is making my eyes burn.
You know, it is a fair bit more potent than when I last visited, now that you mention it.
Odin working the dwarves to the bone shattering for his little rainbow beams. Along with more varied environments, we've got a much more interesting set of enemies to fight. So long are the days of just a variant humanoid plus a nightmare. Our combat is also greatly improved, bringing in some verticality to fight arenas. Kratos used to be able to double jump for Christ's sake, but leaping off a ledge and slamming the axe never got old.
You did it! Let's see what it drops.
Oh my god, why does every game want to be a Souls-like? Just kidding. This is totally taken from Shadow of the Colossus Lizards.
I think I get it. If you freeze the geyser, the pressure will turn the wheel.
I rather enjoyed our allies helping us with the puzzles. I get that they do speak a little too fast and there should be an option to turn off, but I don't know. I suck at puzzles and it made it feel like we're a team working together than me just carrying around dead weight.
Welcome to Nidavellir, brothers.
Wow, has Marvel really gotten weird with the source material? From the heart of the dying star to a quaint little city. The humble designs of Ragnarok are a favorite of mine. Many times before we play as Atreus, the camera really teases us that it's going to follow behind and give us control. And then Kratos walks past the camera like, hey, this is my game. Ain't no one controlling my son but me.
Watch yourselves. Apparently, there are intruders about.
Santa Monica is the best. They gave Bear McCreary a character of his own. Made him a bard and everything.
And of course, his name is Rabe, which is just bear backwards.
Ew. They do say dwarves are resourceful though. Unlimited supply of ink right there.
Together!
Cute. No! That is for this game!
Outstanding. That overflowing water is powering the train. Clever.
Thanks, Mimir. After bumbling around for 10 minutes and finally getting it, that clever made me feel really good. I gotta say, I really dig the more emphasis on puzzles this time around. 2018 was really lacking in this department and really always boiled down to destroying runes or pulling a chain. There are quite a few little hints that Tyr was Odin the entire time. This one here is a nod to how Odin hung himself for 9 days from the World Tree to gain wisdom and knowledge. I don't have footage of it, but if you look around Tyr's cell, you'll notice there are raven feathers scattered about. Odin probably put them there on purpose to mock us. Another hint is when the fake Tyr talks, there's no accent over the Y in his name when he speaks in the subtitles. When there is, if someone else says his name.
No.
Yeah, we brought him right back.
Yeah, stay away from me.
Super fun having the god of war be a little pussy. Tyr is not at all what I expected. Doubly so after the twist near the end. And the tier reveal works on a meta level as we expected to have a fellow badass in arms through the trailers. Odin even bamboozled us, the players.
Your statue in the lake. You had a spear. I thought you needed a weapon.
Walking stick? No.
Interesting that this God of War has a very similar waistcoat to Kratos. At least his OG one.
Come here. Speak of Balder.
Just don't ask his vulnerabilities. You won't get much.
You speak of Ragnarok. Is it a god of war you came to find? Is that the Tyr you need?
Everything Tyr says is so interesting on a replay knowing it's Odin. Like this question here. Odin seems to be genuinely asking if what Kratos seeks is destroy another pantheon.
Lord Tyr, you're really alive.
Am I? I wonder.
Odin wondering out loud about the real Tyr, whom you can actually find out is alive and well.
I care only for his safety.
I know, brother.
Damn, the framing is always so perfect in every shot. Didn't even notice Mimir was visible until the rack focus.
His pain is fresh. You expect too much.
Oh, Atreus, Gandalf would be so ashamed over dropping some eaves. Oh, what? Ragnarok just pulled Last of Us Part 1 on hiding that we get to play as Atreus.
A chest.
Haha, baby boy's first chest hits a 404 error. He's not his father, he's got to do things the Loki way. I really loved Atreus' combat. I do agree the pacing of his sections weren't the greatest, looking at you, Ironwood, but overall, he's got about as much depth combat-wise of at least one weapon that Kratos has. So, in a way, we can look at him as the fourth weapon slash Mjolnir we never got. The different feeling of his combat is very apparent from the start. Feels much more scrappy and more of an underdog. And you can also feel that in some of the balancing changes they made, like when fighting a Wolver later on. Wish we could have chosen to play as him or Kratos in the post-game, but that's alright, as I'm very sure this was a test run to see interest in a Atreus-led game, and I could totally see it working. Sonny Soldic just might have a franchise of his own to lead at 17 years old. Hey, the glowing eyes we saw in the first game that none of you in the comments would let go that I missed. Sindri is so scared he finally touches someone. But I like to think he's more willing with how close they've grown traveling the realms together. I could not get me enough World Serpent. Really wish we got more of his battle with Thor in the end. Well, I guess the running feeling is we all wanted more Ragnarok, and the game subtitled as such.
Don't tell Brock I cursed. He's unbearable when he's smug.
So, all the time then?
Maybe this is a sign.
Don't be a baby. I'll catch you. Promise not to drop you this time.
Ha! This time. I'd play a DLC of these two adventuring around trying to find evidence of Tyr.
The arrow tip that killed your son? That's a great question. I'm so dead.
Accepting your fate. This is really the definition of a full send.
He took my son. What makes you think I won't do the same?
You're better than this.
The main theme of the last game underlines the entirety of this game. You'll notice throughout, Kratos and Atreus are making constant strides to reach out to others to make them better.
They know me as Loki.
Freya flips her blade on them, as her beliefs are starting to be flipped. Have I mentioned I love Sindri's little Santa Claus hat? He's cute. At least for now. I'm sad. When crafting the animations for the Blades of Chaos, Santa Monica used Ballet of Fire as their inspiration. Atreus has got him beat, I think, with his combat animations. Between the dives, dodges, and spins and flourishes, his combat is the flashiest we've got.
Legions of souls tried to stop me. I can still feel them crawling all over my skin.
Wow, I was not expecting a reason for Brock to be blue and Sindri to be so afraid of germy germs. So now we can stop asking ourselves,
Why are you blue?
You saved Brock's life. I caused trouble.
No. I made a choice. One that wasn't mine to make.
Directly mirroring Kratos' choice to kill Balder.
Well, you can't change the past, but it doesn't have to be who you are.
Pretty much the entire theme of this duology.
That might be the best idea you've had all night. Trey. Whatever, Loke.
Just wanted
Now
to...
hang on, little Jotun.
That's the best nickname you've come up with yet. Aw, Kratos moving head so he can join everyone at the table.
You know what? I'm gonna build a bigger table.
With the Avengers assembling later on, you're gonna need it.
My goodness, what a strapping physique.
I really didn't think they were gonna do it, but by golly, the crazy bastards did.
What is happening?
You know, I wasn't too sure that Kratos had actually grown at all, but I'll be. Old Kratos would have ripped this little tree rat in half for climbing on him.
Bitter? Would you like to come out and see your friends?
Fuck off, I'm busy!
I knew it! Troy Baker squeezed his way into another game.
Oh, I didn't know it could do that.
Truly the moment that Odin feared Kratos. Him knowing something he didn't.
The door should have opened.
I thought we were doing the Light Elves of Solid last game, but I guess it's never that simple. What I bet the Dark Elves are really fighting for is to exterminate these weeb-loving, Moonveil spamming pointy ears.
He said
You went inside the light of Alfheim?
Yes.
You must tell me, Kratos. What did you see?
Odin's receding little head cropping up here. Pretty much any time the opportunity for knowledge creeps up, Tyr will drop his calm pacifism and a sense of eagerness creeps in.
What are you doing?
I heard something.
So that confirms that the music here
Conversation was difficult, to say the least.
is diegetic, and Kratos for the first time got to hear his wife's theme. Or better yet, this was a song that Faye used to hum around Kratos.
She's gone.
This is so dumb because this happens all the time in music, but I knew I recognized it from somewhere. This is from Captain America Civil War's Divided We Fall, which is some neat irony, if intentional. I know it's not, since Kratos is bringing Kratos back. Also neat that it's Atreus that brings Kratos back from the light. Not once, but twice. Without him, after Faye, who knows what he would have become. Ooh, the music is telling us not to trust Tyr as he comes into frame. The music gets a little quite dissonant. And if I'm not mistaken, there is just a hint of the Hand of Odin, which is kind of his / Thor's theme.
Is there a right side?
Exactly. What do you think, Atreus? Is there a right side in this war?
Peep Odin beginning to prime Atreus to be his new daddy.
I don't know.
Then perhaps you shouldn't pick one.
Everything Tyr says not knowing he's Odin does feel like pacifist wisdom, but the more you hear him speak, this is all just him trying to manipulate Atreus, to not have him rise against Asgard.
Fighting in Ragnarok.
No. I can't.
Not Odin shitting his pants about the prospect of Tyr being alive.
And Odin dies.
I can't help but win every little directorial moment with Odin's Tyr. Being so enamored with the prophecy, he bumps Atreus.
Hell's army was there. And the elves. Champion.
It's very interesting comparing this to the first shrine we saw, which had different factions at play and no Atreus presence. These shrines have been shown to change based on the actions of people, such as the ending one with Kratos being worshipped. Through Atreus sneaking off to Freya and Kratos maybe not ripping a squirrel in half, things are more fluid than they realize. Well, it's not actually, right? Kratos doesn't end up killing Odin in the end, and it's distinctly because of reasons I'll get into later. But right now, where Kratos and Atreus are with each other, the trust they share, it's not enough yet.
But for the first time, we know something Odin doesn't.
Want to bet? Well, we killed the Dark Elves, so...
It is only natural.
Perfectly balanced.
Innocent.
And marching towards the destruction of Asgard.
What choice do we have?
There is always a choice.
Very interesting coming from Odin, who says near the end that there isn't a choice for him to make. It goes to the theme of we are our nature. It seems as he's impersonating Tyr, he's to a degree going against his nature. Of course, in the end, he can't overcome it.
No. I am sorry.
Is that one of Atreus' first Kratos grunts? Probably not, but I still appreciate it.
Am I the only one that remembers they predicted our entire journey to Jotunheim?
The only thing that they couldn't predict was how the legacy of Faye's passing would affect the dynamic duo.
Would you care to take a practice throw?
Please just spam your axe to the chimes with Rabbit's Tasker here. I promise you won't regret it.
Yeah. We'll see about that.
I swear this is Brock like, what is this Aesir pompous schluck? There are hints to him figuring out all over.
A meal fit for a champion?
Should I say it? Am I gonna? You know what I'm saying, right? You smelling when I'm stepping in? Sindri looking so cute with his little bib. Damn, that wipe to put Sindri in is smooth as glass.
Please wait. Please.
Atreus killed Modi after giving in to his emotions. Atreus received a fatty bruise from Kratos in the same spot when he gave in to his emotions at the start of the game, and now stabbed himself in that location. This is the most dramatic and roundabout way to have a coming-of-age story for Atreus, and to warn him of the consequences of the path he is sliding down.
I'm not finished with it yet.
Haha, that's funny. Seeing your fate, just moments before it happens. One thing these little giant can't foresee is what armor I'm going to put Loki in. Take that, prophecy!
I wonder what Brock and Sindri would think of that.
Who?
Oh, they're kinda like uncles.
Kinda?
Oh, that's the cutest.
Do you like breaking stuff?
It's just something my father... You know what? Never mind.
Hey, it's not his fault that Zelda is a game that exists. We need our rupees.
Like a champion, even.
Thanks.
Too soon. Oh my god, these first party titles are all the same. Serious Last of Us vibes with this.
What?
Go!
Okay.
Ironwood has got a bad rap for not the worst reasons. But for a break to just see and let Loki be a kid for a little bit, it was really nice to see. Coupled with him being so bashful around Angrboda and the stunning visuals of Ironwood, it's not that bad. Just not what we expected from Ragnarok.
Sorry, not so lively around here.
Guess I'm just lucky.
Nah, you're just Loki.
See what I mean? They're cute.
No. It's not right.
I've combed through this game and don't believe we hear Loki's theme for the first time until now. He doesn't earn his theme until he sees the death of his father. This is when he gains full agency over himself and starts making executive decisions for himself. And if you notice, the main motif for Loki is just Kratos' theme reversed. He's his son, yes, but they differ very much fundamentally, being complete mirrors of each other at points. The same, but opposite. Baron knows exactly what he's doing with the score once again. The camera takes a frantic POV shot like we're looking directly through Loki's eyes. Remember when I mentioned wolves being pack animals? Well, wolves can become very protective of their pack, hence Loki finally transforming into one, having his emotional need to protect Kratos. And yeah, Loki is a shapeshifter in myth, and Atreus asked if Loki could turn into animals in the last game, so we got our payoff.
See, it's okay. Let go.
Leave it to his future wife to be the one to calm him.
Maybe it's not what it looks like. Maybe I'm tricking Odin.
Oh, is trickery something you're good at? What do you draw?
All kinds of things. Monsters, artifacts, anything Father and I encounter on our journeys.
All of which could be found in the codex of the first game.
Oh, is your father an artist too?
If blood was his paint and grease his canvas, yeah, you could say so.
Go faster? No offense, Yellow.
Even Loki is feeling what we are.
They just can't carry both of us. This is much easier.
Try not to hit the lampshading on your way out. Oh, yeah, baby boy's first Spartan Rage doesn't hit a 404 error. Atreus' theme, just like his combat style, is much scrappier and excited than Kratos', of which has booming chanting commanding respect of a god of war. Both their themes fit perfectly for their characters. Oh neat, we get to see the peak that we spread face ashes on.
Killed a flower?
It's a gift.
Thanks.
Different cultures colliding.
Me too.
And you can just sit here and enjoy the view as long as you like. It's up for us to move on.
There's not much more we can do.
For a moment, I was curious why Loki jumped to try and put a soul inside the snake, but we've got this line.
I've buried enough wolves this winter.
Wolves is a blanket term for protecting all animals.
I actually don't know how to do this part.
Okay. Together, then?
This has got to be a metaphor for a little hubba hubba, right? This is his coming of age story, and getting down and dirty is a part of that. It's okay, Loki. We all miss sometimes. But in all seriousness, this is a really cute and creative way to show the birth of Jormungandr. Angrboda and Loki are married and his parents, after all, in myth, and obviously there is no showing this in the traditional manner. Plus, this story has got giant stuff to show up. So, we've got their hands forming a heart as they bring him into the world.
Loki. Are you certain?
And just like that, it's simple to change fate, a feeling, and the entire course of your life can change. Don't think about it too hard or you'll be paralyzed.
Won't even remember in a moment.
Oh no, she's gonna cook these kids into a pie, isn't she? I can't be the only one that thought that with this scene.
You sure?
No. But we can't hide forever.
Some grade A honesty though. Also, callback to Atreus being honest with not being sure about Jormungandr. If Ragnarok improved anything, it was its boss battles. All of them are much more varied and unique than the 8th Troll. Gorilla's a giant, after all, and there's more to fight than just smack the hell sponge till it drops. Funny that God of War went from having some of the best boss fights in the industry to leaving us needing more to finally getting a middle ground.
She's not a monster, you know? She's lost.
And that's pretty much the through line for all of our antagonists in this game. Odin lost in pursuit of knowledge, Thor lost at the bottom of a bottle, Freya lost in her need for vengeance, Grilla being the one of the only giants left alive. Each of our antagonists were all human once, loving and kind, only to have lost themselves in one thing or because of an outside factor. Listen to Grilla here.
This is all I've got!
People would be driven into one singular thing at times that makes them better or worse for even people like Kratos, as you can see pre and post 2018 for him.
Go, go, go! Fox? Oh, no, you don't!
God, this is just fun. There's a part of me that wishes this was a trilogy. Could have had the second game be Atreus figuring out who Loki is, same as Kratos found himself in the first game. Then make the third about fate and opening our hearts and yada yada yada, and giving Ragnarok time to breathe. But I digress. I just really enjoyed these latter moments. There's a sense of adventure still present, even with Ragnarok and Kratos' death being on the horizon. A sense of wonder that I believe beats out even the first game. Atreus' gear isn't as extensive as Kratos' of course, but doesn't take away from the possible build potentials like you want a more status-focused build or more melee-focused. You've got options.
Your mother may be gone, but your father... You've still got time.
Funny she mentions that because that's something every parent feels as their child grows up. It's something even Christopher Judge mentions directly in Raising Kratos.
Has missed 10 years of his child growing up, and I really found some parallels with my own life there. Because I was working on a show and I basically missed 10 years of my kids growing up. So it's just it's an interesting dynamic for me. You know, it's you know, a little closer to home than I'd like it.
It's a heartbreaking reality. A reality Santa Monica is somewhat able to give us. By the end of the game, Loki leaves and we have Freya with us, and there's no bringing him back. He's gone, and all the side content is now experienced without him. And there's this weird hole after this absence. Like, we want to know how he would have reacted when we saved Havgufa and all the little story times with Mimir. We gotta hold on tightly to the time we share with others because you never know what we're gonna be missing till it's too late. Ha! Trey looking like a Chad.
Home. Think of it. Repeat it.
Home.
You know I gotta do it.
There's no place like
What were you thinking?
Oh shit, even I feel in trouble in this moment. Bravo events, Santa Monica. Of course, Atreus has got to sneak out of home and accidentally be too late. I've seen it in like 100 movies.
For 2 days.
Also a reminder that time works differently between the realms.
Why can't you just...
Later.
Step back, boy. Let daddy show you how it's done. Is exactly how this moment felt. Oh god, no, I'm getting Seagram PTSD all over again. Not one aspect of the combat was left untouched. Well, barehanded, but we don't talk about that. Giving our Rage Meter more utility offers even more build diversity. You may notice her blade is growing green. When Freya stole the mistletoe tip from Atreus, she was imbuing it with that magic. Can't blame her for having a touch of poetics. Kratos, my man! He's protecting not only his son, but Freya from experiencing the same hardship he endured when he destroyed Greece. I still ship it.
Well, guess it's just us then.
See what I mean about family dog? His new rage ability is also in line with the growth he's gone through.
Watch where you're going. I told you.
Can always appreciate the devs making fun of their dumber players.
You serve my sister.
The only god Kratos is willing to serve is one whom he can 100% relate to. Doesn't confirm it, but for sure doesn't deny it. Can't just be me thinking Brock has got an iron sword from Skyrim. They are kind of masters of realm travel, right?
You have a brother?
His name was Deimos.
Deimos? They're really bringing up that deep cut? Santa Monica loves their franchise. Play Ghost of Sparta on the PS3 if you're confused.
You think you can even begin to understand the pain of losing a child?
Yes, I do.
There was another.
Something Freya did not see coming. And frankly, not a conversation I expected Kratos opening up about.
Not knowing my own wife and child were there until their blood stained my hands. I swore revenge.
The amount of peace Kratos has found with his past is staggering and an inspiration. If there was one person that could bring Freya back from the brink, it only really could have been Kratos.
Ragnarok will not bring back what you have lost any more than killing me.
I am reaching my limit for enlightened platitudes from you today. Can you please just shut up and kill things?
I was kind of waiting for that one. After trying to kill him for 3 years, she was being very tolerant of Kratos being holier than thou. Still though, their conversations are gripping. Hearing Kratos speak of his past, of being a Spartan, why he's so adamant about not seeking war is just beautiful to hear.
What?
I killed to protect my son, to aid my friends. But I will be no one's monster. Never again.
You don't get to make that choice.
Ooh, callback to Athena's words in 2018. Poetic that Athena is somewhat a god of battle along with Freya, with the words Kratos chooses. And hearing Kratos say, friends, my heart grew 3 sizes. Don't stick your Kratos in that. But I wonder if there's a certain ship captain hiding in there. Just like all the mainline games, he's in there. He's mentioned in a codex entry from Kratos, finally admitting he was kind of a dick to him.
It's going back in! We will not let it!
Is this the weirdest time to mention that, once again, Kratos barely speaks with any contractions being from Greece? Continuity. Freya, you're invited to my wedding.
Is it done?
Kratos getting ready for a fight from Freya, sadly. Freya's blade only glows when she grabs it. Having that power of the mistletoe only activates as she grabs it. It's a parallel of Kratos' Blades of Chaos, using the weapon of which brought so much heartache yourself.
To be honest, I don't think I can do either.
Inaction is something that Faye and Loki credit as a negative trait. No one likes someone on the fence. Kratos really did just speedrun an arc for Freya that took him about 5 games plus some off-screen time to complete. I'm glad Mimir, or Atreus, wasn't here for any of this. It was really important that it was only these two so they could speak freely and honestly. This was about them, and no one else.
But the choice between life and death should have been yours to make. I should not have robbed you of that choice.
The first time Freya smiles in Ragnarok. She's for sure feeling like Walter White in episode 5 of season 1. I've seen that show way too many times. If you know, you know. Excuse me? Freya is another Atreus? Now that was unexpected. Makes me also believe they had the Brock sections with his own summon attacks and commands to make us think he'd be an ally too eventually.
I never thought I'd have the pleasure of seeing you again, Frigg.
Notice he says Frigg. That was Odin's pet name for Freya that translates to love in some texts.
If you want me to trust you, then tell me the truth.
The truth is you're being a complete asshole.
He did not just say that to Kratos. 2018 was a game really focused around the duo of Kratos and Atreus. Ragnarok, on the other hand, takes a much more ensemble approach to the storytelling, especially by the end. Sentry's house is teeming with allies and friends.
You must choose who you're going to be.
Choose? I never get to choose.
The theme of choice that's been cropping up lately goes hand in hand with the one of fate in some ways, and all come to a head with a choice to be better, which in turn circumvents fate. It's like Mimir said last game.
It's all connected.
He's not even a bear yet and tossed Kratos like a sack of potatoes.
And then what? Where could I go?
Wonder if that raven squawking is any hint.
I never came up with Mimir's story about Hrimthur. The stonemason's son built a flaw into it. He only told Frey about it, and I didn't think to ask.
Guess Loki talking to himself about Mimir's stories is the next best thing since he's all alone.
What? No you walk through walls?
Skill to your curses like a kid who just figured out how to.
I may owe Odin my life, but I don't owe him my death.
You might want to tell him that. A little animation change to show his fatigue rather than just telling us. Attention to detail. All of Atreus' sections are really just attention to detail and care for the narrative. Modern gaming would suggest that all these locations made for Loki should be revisitable as to get the most player retention out of the work put into these environments. Santa Monica says, no, we're putting in all this work just to tell a good story. A rarity nowadays. I'm not the only one that had no idea which god this could be, right? This Heimdall is like nothing we've ever seen before. The eyes are a bit of a giveaway, I know, but I'm dumb. He's got an apple, so that's how we know he's a dick. Once again, flying in the face of what most of us probably expected from Asgard. No giant golden pillars or cathedrals, just a humble little village, really.
I would also guess that you are disrespectful, entitled, and impulsive.
Talk about the pot calling the kettle black.
Palace, do you think the All-Father needs to puff himself up like some mortal chieftain?
I guess not.
I'm sorry if that is a letdown for you.
For a moment it was, but after my initial reverse shock, I loved the choice. The amount of work that must have gone into giving Heimdall these animations that work with whatever we throw at him must have been immense. It makes sense for a guy who can see everything would be untouchable.
I am profoundly unimpressed. You should probably stay down.
Heimdall is deliberately a dickhead. Santa Monica's goal with each of these gods was to ask themselves, what would happen to a regular human if granted these otherworldly powers? For Heimdall's case, what would happen to a human if they could see everything that was going to happen? Always being right, never getting to enjoy a surprise or moment of chance love. Well, you get an entitled little prick boy.
Is that true, Loki? You a little trickster? I'm just messing around. Of course he means to betray me, huh?
Richard Schiff, people. Everything he says is gold.
Heimdall? Why else would he come?
Odin's right eye is gone. Didn't even see him over there. Attention to detail.
Intending on killing me first thing? See?
Candor.
Warm.
I struggle to find a source about the Einherjar having pale skin, so I'm gonna chalk their appearance up to being a reference to War Boys from Mad Max.
That looks good. Is that praised?
This game is ginormous, and I'm finding it hard not to win just every little moment. I've been waiting for this title since 2018, and more so ever since I saw how much you all loved the 2018 video, so sorry, not sorry. I'm winning it all. Odin getting distracted by little food endears me to him. We saw what the Ragnarok rally at Sentry's house said about Odin, but damn does he make a good case for himself to Loki.
Is it because I'm half giant?
Big deal. So's Thor.
Oh yeah, some giants are large, hence his bigger, stature.
Who's the kid? You training pickpockets?
Clever. Not trying to rouse suspicion among the Allfather that he's seen Atreus before. A good idea, considering Odin seems a little angry. Popping around like this and even through realms shows us the level of power Odin really possesses. It takes us like 10 years just to move from one to the other.
Whoa!
Well, I was right, Loki. You're about to be in a love triangle if this was a lesser game.
I mean, really?
And they say I'm the bad guy. Come on, let's walk.
Odin really knows how to work with kids. Give them some McDonald's and they'll do whatever you want.
To give meaning to mortals while living without it ourselves? No. We're more than that.
Not even godly powers can escape the existential question of purpose.
Save the people we love.
How?
Eavesdropping his tears starting to pay off. I can't be the only one that hoped Loki would put on his mask and look at the camera and say,
Okay. I wouldn't recommend that.
This Odin lost his eye in the pursuit of knowledge without gaining any, which contrasts the traditional Odin who sacrifices an eye and does. It brings up the prompt I mentioned with Heimdall. How would a godly being such as Odin react to being permanently scarred and denied understanding his purpose? We get this. But there's also the theory that he did gain knowledge, but only a fraction of what is truly in there, compelling him on his quest for the mask to see what comes after. He only got a taste of what it possibly could be. Loki also says,
These aren't from the 9 realms.
Thus giving more fire to Odin's drive. To know there's knowledge to be gained from beyond the 9 realms is too tantalizing to resist in the end, and why he can't change.
Take that and do your damn job.
Let's go! Buddy cop episode with Thor! Ingrid is the bestest girl since Fenrir. I was wondering if they were gonna let us control Thor. Not surprised for a moment they didn't, and enjoyed the sword.
Remember the snake we put that soul in?
Can't really forget that.
I saw it. It's getting bigger. Like, faster than normal bigger.
Jormungandr shadowing.
That was fun.
Preying on your opponent's weakness? Favorite hobby? God damn these transitions. Plus having it be the knives made from Norse and Greek metals that connect them as Atreus finds himself caught between 2 fathers from both worlds makes it all the sweeter.
You may not find them cooperative.
As long as I find them. Where do we search?
If history is to repeat itself, then I have every expectation that they will cooperate whether they like it or not.
They are wolves.
And matted fur leads to disease. Take care of them and they'll take care of you.
If you ever want to pet the good boys, you've got to go through an entire side quest to get the opportunity. Kratos literally learns how to be a good dog owner in Ragnarok. This game really does have it all.
That's not the problem, is it?
No. Death can have me when it earns me.
Breaking Christopher Judge, people. Going up against Roger Clark was no easy feat. He earned every second of that 8-minute speech at the Game Awards, and I felt like a proud dad all over again watching him win. Wolves and the Gulan are much better versions of the slow little boat from the first game.
I should have guessed it was Secret helping you recover yourself. She's so loyal. Why?
Everybody, get yourself a partner that speaks about you like Mimir does, Sigrun.
Isn't it always the third place you look?
Mimir would be great at GamingWins. Anyone that said the gore was completely gone from the new God of War games is really missing something. Phantom, more like Transformium. Is Stanley Tucci a Nord? To be fair, these are among the most interesting of the repeated bosses in this duology. Beats the hell out of trolls at least. Love me some auto pickup when we got all these little loot explosions. I can't imagine seeing something like that, but goes to show that she blames herself completely for the death of Baldur. Yeah, Sigrun? I'll do it again.
Don't see many of those in these parts.
She must be theirs.
A Kelpie is from Scottish folklore, hence Mimir being the only one who knows exactly what it is with his Scottish accent. Which begs the question, how can Mimir see behind him?
They serve the sea god. I battled one upon a titan.
You gotta put yourself in their shoes when Kratos tells all these stories in that dry tone of his. Killed the fates to go back in time. Fought a god with water horses on top of a titan. All of his stories are just bonkers to the uninitiated if you think about it. The absolute detail given to the Norse myth always astounds me. The Norns have a sacred well they use to nourish Yggdrasil. We've got to pass through the water on the Kelpie to be brought to what looks similar to threads of fate, and also, of course, the lining of the world tree.
I seek my son.
Hee
What all who search for us seek, to know the ending to your story.
The Norns are so uninterested, and even gods come into them. So used to the same question every time. But that's not why Kratos is here. He doesn't care about the end of his story, only that Atreus is safe. So already he's going against his nature, and it's thrown off the Norns.
He resists the urge to grunt. Oh, he fails.
You come to us, piteous archetypes, seeking freedom from your scripts.
Reminds me heavily of Shakespeare. All the world's a stage, and all men and women players. Actors could go off script and not say their lines or hit their marks, but to do so would ruin the plan or show. Also, of course, everyone has their roles to play in life, and all expect Kratos to be the monster who will bring down Asgard.
Protagonists are speechless. They do not understand.
There is no grand design.
Each of the Norns themselves have a role as if they're a play. We've got the narrator, the writer, and the actor. And beyond that, they all work with their myth. Eero is the past who talks about archetypes and past events. And with her believing we are the sum of our choices, she could easily take on the role of writer and finish the story based on that alone. Verandi is the present, describing what is happening in that scene, then Skuld being the future, already knowing all the lines before they come out. The analogy is meant. Well played, Santa Monica.
There is no grand design, no script, only the choices you make. That your choices are so predictable merely make us seem prescient.
A really interesting take on fate. The Norns basically believe what Athena does, that people cannot change and that we will all be destined to fall back into our core natures at the end of the day, which is honestly very, very true sometimes if you look around the people in your life. I've got someone I know who is constantly making mistakes and making obvious poor decisions constantly that negatively impacts their life. It's been like this for over 7 years. Even with all that negative adversity, it still takes a lot to overcome one's core nature. And not even kids can do it a lot of the times, but there's always something out there for us if we aren't satisfied. We can always change.
When my son was born, shut up!
She's having too much fun doing this.
He still slays gods, but now he's sad about it?
Another crack in the Norns, I like to believe. Kratos is not sad about Baldur's death in the slightest. Granted, she might have just been poking and talking shit. And he really doesn't even regret doing it. What he regrets is how that decision affected Freya. In his youth, he did not give two short and curlies about what happened after killing a god, even when seeing the domains they run fall to ruin. Kratos is their blind spot. Most likely being from another realm or universe entirely. Or that he's just that dude who devised fate for breakfast.
Exunt omnes.
Exeunt omnes means that all actors leave the stage, as in like, everyone dies, basically. Still over their use of stage language, as I was a big theater kid in high school.
Focusing on the second act to the exclusion of the final. A common mistake in storycraft.
That's Kratos for you. He does not care about how his story ends.
And one last thing about the Norns and their designs is that the one that represents the past is older with grey hair and a walking stick. The one that represents the present is in adulthood with her hair still full of colour. And the future is clearly younger, sitting down, and of course with how she was mocking Freya and Kratos is clearly more immature and playful when it comes to her powers.
The Norns also feel like a meta-commentary on what we expected from Kratos. Saw a lot of people disappointed we only killed one god. We knew Kratos was a god killer and expected that out of him. But we got something completely different. For the better, too. Do we really need a rehash of Kratos destroying another pantheon, then move on to the next one? No. We deserve a story. A new story. This story. I dig the traditional witches laughing at our protagonists, like Freya being a horror villain and like hour ago. This video's still going. Y'all need a snack or something?
The one Odin hanged himself with.
And Odin hung himself from the World Tree, which I mentioned the Norns nourished, so of course Yggdrasil would be close, even if it's not in its OG form.
We've got no way to reach Heimdall, and no way to kill him if we did.
I have killed gods greater than him.
Finally getting into the murder of some gods.
Because if Heimdall is a threat to my son, I must act. It is my...
Your nature. Well played, Norns.
I must act. Fun choice of words considering the Norns' use of theater terminology. I know he means act, as in put literally action into saving a son, but I also like that he's only acting, pretending to be the god he used to be, only for a moment for Atreus' sake. So the Norns' place in this story really feels like they're not only the writers, but also the directors. Kratos would not have gone after Heimdall unless they put that notion in his head, because, you notice, Heimdall has no intention to kill Loki, as that would portray Odin, at least right now.
He sees the future.
More like he reads the person, sees their intention.
Very similar to the Norns, just predicting what's coming next. When it comes to Kratos, you never know what's coming next. We never saw that of war coming.
We will ask the dwarves.
Ah, the inevitable asking of the dwarves.
The truth behind that. Odin in this very game asked the dwarves for a weapon to kill something unkillable. He's still a dwarf after all. Loves him some shiny things. Forging destiny. A double entendre, since we're forging the spear that'll follow the Norns' prophecy, but also, with Brock blessing the spear and Kratos helping him through that, we see Kratos opening up his heart to Brock's suffering, and in the final moments of Ragnarok, he does as well, subverting all that they predicted.
3 of Odin's kin dead because of the path she put you on.
Something I've forgotten to mention in the last game. Magni and Modi are among the few survivors of Ragnarok. Kratos and Atreus killed them both. A red herring that no one survives Ragnarok after Kratos. And on the other hand, proof that Faye's meddling has already permanently changed the Ragnarok prophecy.
Ain't you never seen a legend in the flesh before?
Which one? You, Kratos, or Mimir? Probably you.
Hey, got another riddle for you.
Please no.
What gets bigger, the more you take away from it.
There's your tears, Primer.
The nature of a thing's more important than the form of a thing.
Leave it to Brock, of all people, to impart the game's biggest theme. You really forget this game is crafted entirely in one shot. Probably because of the menus, dying, and play sessions, but it is still so impressive that over such a long game and side content, that unbroken shot persists. Oh, it's got Brock and Sentry's mark, too. This game is perfect. From the God of War Omega, which means the end, putting it on the spear, of which might end the 9 realms, to the Spartan insignia, who he actually is. From his nature to his form. I really had no idea where they were going with the ring, but having it so neatly fit on his finger and be able to summon it is just an inspired design to not clutter Kratos' character. Then using the ring's nature with a new form to transcend what it was on its own is just... mwah. The spear is almost a spitting image of the arms of Sparta from the Ghost of Sparta PSP game.
I died. I died!
Kratos is like, do you know how many times I've died?
It needs the blessing of a great blacksmith.
Kratos being a bro right now.
It is the nature of a thing that matters, not its form.
Call back to him you welling up when he said it.
May it be put down when its job is done.
Would it be a Brock blessing without that? Which also is a direct contrast to Sindri. And for once, Brock has nothing smart or funny to say. Completely speechless from Kratos. Damn, does Draupnir not disappoint? Doing spears in games can be trouble sometimes, and Santa Monica nails it. Between using pokes and slashes, it feels great. I would want to talk about it now instead of later. We were all expecting to kill Thor and get Mjolnir as a weapon. Hell, even after getting Draupnir, I know that's the name of the ring and not the spear, there was only one button left on the D-pad. Also, it seems that we were going to have 4 elements: fire, ice, wind, and thunder. It was perfect, but they didn't do it. Director Eric Williams stated that it just would have been too easy. We all expected it, and they didn't want to do it because it was expected. We've basically already got Mjolnir. It recalls to us like it, and shares a lot of other similarities. Plus, the axe was literally made to counter it. It's in the same vein. But the most important reason is, thematically speaking, Mjolnir is basically the anti-Leviathan axe. The hammer was used to slaughter and causes fear. All of Kratos' weapons in Ragnarok are from people who love him. The axe from Faye, the spear from Brock, and the blades were only reintroduced out of love for his son. Kratos wielding Mjolnir would go against everything they've built him up to be. As much as I'd love to still use it though. And like I talked about earlier with Kratos taking on the traits of all the Norse gods, Draupnir was gifted to Odin by Brock and Sindri, and now they're gifting it to Kratos. Also, like, pincushioning enemies is cool.
Guess we're doing this one boy style.
Oh my god, I love Brock. He didn't have to do this. He can step in between realms. He really just wanted to give Kratos a hug. Odin doesn't just use Midgard as a human shield, also uses the dwarves. Or dwarf, rather.
Oh God, do they not have metaphor in your homeland?
Ironic, with the Greeks being greatly attributed to their philosophy and theater.
Or rather, did they? I'm sorry, that's not fair.
This is another thing I love about Richard Schiff's performance and Odin's dialogue. For just a moment, you see his frustration with Kratos boil over and his nice facade drops. Then he notices what he said and immediately backtracks. It's classic manipulation.
The weapon swapping combo opportunities are brilliant and buttery smooth. I didn't even mean to do this, and it looked sick as hell.
Brother, without a way to Asgard, what are we doing?
I do not know. I need to think. I am tired.
Now, that is a first for Kratos for sure. No respect given to the blades, but all of it to the Leviathan axe. Jesus, the animation team and Christopher Judge, once again, you can see for a moment he breaks, and it's so subtle. Shirtless Kratos makes me feel things. Would be down for an armor that makes him look like naked OG Kratos.
The mighty god of war, frightened of his own child.
Considering his history with his dad, I would be too. This is a really powerful scene though. The serenity of the water and the quiet of the wildwoods alongside this golden lighting. It's so warm and peaceful.
Again, you see Kratos break for a moment as his rage builds up, but he immediately puts himself in check and goes to take his rage out on the wall. If he didn't, Ratatoska might have ended up ripped in half after all.
Once again, it's something they both share that stitches their scenes together. Also, Loki's little punch is so cute next to Kratos's.
Finally figured it out. This is where you killed Ymir, isn't it?
Ymir is what existed first, basically, and once Odin was created, killed Ymir to create most of the realms. Stands to reason where it all began would be a possible wealth of knowledge, a vestige left over from Ymir.
I need to know what happens to me.
You can make a religion out of this. On the mask, we've got different symbols from a host of different mythologies, and with Loki saying it's not from the realms, then it just all but confirms the future of God of War as jumping myth.
Oh, forgot to mention, Heimdall will be joining you.
What a privilege.
They got a baby sister.
He just wants to be free. The peace must be behind him.
Garm and Fenrir are sometimes conflated as the same creature in the myth. So Santa Monica did what they do best to combine the two. Fenrir gets chained up by the Aesir just as Garm is here. And Garm is able to break out because this isn't the actual piece of silk made by the dwarves to bind him. And as Ragnarok comes, in an Eddic poem from the Poetic Edda, name of a collection of untitled Norse myth, it reads, "Chains will snap and the wolf will run." The experience of Ragnarok is heightened so much by knowing the literature. I'm very glad I was told to read up before playing. Oh, forgot to mention, the armored weapons we get once arriving at Asgard both mention equipment fit for a prince. If Odin's grooming wasn't obvious enough already. Shit, I was counting Heimdall out and thought he was just untouchable and not very strong. Santa Monica really sets up the fact that Heimdall is untouchable, just to make our eventual success over him all the better. Oh, we know Daddy is angry when he's not wearing his cute winter hat. Look at his lip quivering. God, I love this game.
Okay, if that's what you want. I meant it when I said you're not a prisoner here. It's your choice. Go, clear your mind.
Santa Monica really does a great job on making Odin so likable. Like, shit, I want him to be my daddy.
Father! Off your back. Help Freya. I will draw them to me.
Daddy! I know you guys make fun of me all the time because I cry like every game I play, but what can I say? I'm a softie. This is the most endearing shit ever. And I can't imagine what it was like on set for Sunny and Christopher. I've had such emotional moments on stage just working on a project for a few months. I can't imagine around 8 years of build-up to something like this, especially considering how the crew views Sunny, watching him grow up before their eyes.
Atreus. What has happened?
Oh my god, it's these moments that make this game perfect for me. Sure, Ragnarok wasn't as cool as we wanted it to be, but I felt so much more for this scene than watching Odin kill Thor or Odin being defeated. Kratos looking to end the hug and Atreus holding on so tightly. Ugh, I love this game!
What would drive you to such mischief? Is this Loki's doing?
Mischief. Good old Loki.
One problem. How much do I have a way back to Elon?
Perhaps the squirrel does.
Head, squirrel, you've got to earn your name when it comes to Kratos. Cuter companions are just little statues when selecting equipment, and hey, saving our resources. Well, that was easy finding Garm.
But I will try not to kill the beast.
Kratos? Not trying to kill a giant creature? He really is born again.
No, too dangerous.
It's a good plan. Let's move.
Wait.
Yes, Atreus, take charge. Kratos be like, though.
Not a great plan.
Did Odin teach you to control it?
No.
We will not rely on what he taught you. Next time, we'll do it my way.
Aw, someone's getting a little jealous of Daddy Odin taking his son. Talk about a spectacle boss fight. How is the one against a big dog cooler than Odin and Thor's fight?
Hey, buddy, I think you lost this.
Oh, that's badass.
All journeys come to an end.
Trailer line.
Fen? Are you?
And with Garm and Fenrir sometimes being one and the same, Atreus literally makes it so. And now we've got the giant Fenrir who broke from his chains come Ragnarok to kill Odin. So cute. Big good boy. And hearing Kratos giving a dog a command was not on my Ragnarok bingo card.
When that someone's trusting me to keep. Like you kept your promise to Mom?
Cute. So many allusions to Ingrid Boda being his wife. Plus, their relationship makes Kratos ask the hilarious question if he had done enough, and asked Mimir later on if he taught Atreus to woo, as he put it.
You have grown into a warrior, worthy of your namesake.
Atreus was the name of a Spartan soldier that reminded Kratos and others that there was still humanity left with them. Goodness. It's cathartic to hear Kratos affirm that to Atreus, as he's mostly referring to what he has done for him.
I need to know you'll be okay without me.
Loki leaving in the end, shadowing.
I am sorry.
The very rare few times that we ever get to hear Kratos apologize.
Don't be sorry, Father. Be better.
Great callback.
And they're in opposite positions to why this was said in God of War 2018. Kratos even sits down to be smaller than Atreus.
And absolute tears started flowing for me whenever I heard that and saw Kratos' most genuine smile at his son. 100% the best scene in the entire game. I love Daddy Kratos. I want more. Why only 2 games?
Is it an oracle?
Much more.
That cheeky little wink using the eye that he actually has missing. Totally just cluing them in that it's actually Odin and he's got a glimpse of that knowledge.
Becoming one with the source of infinite knowledge.
In hindsight, we really should have seen it coming. At least, I didn't. Odin can't help but smile at the thought. Peep Faye's golden handprint on the book. Though the mask feels like a waste of time and guffin, it was crucial in putting the boys on the path to making Kratos and Atreus who they are meant to be. So in all actuality, it was very important. Ooh, so natural just to cover each other's backs.
So sorry about that.
Freya's poor.
Her advisor.
Like I said, they're really just pulling everything out of this game. And they kind of had to, with this being their only chance to wrap up everything. Aw, their eyes are so pretty. Of course, along with their eyes being the sun and moon. A wolf howling at a full moon.
We do well to have our own endless army of dead soldiers.
Foreshadowing! Also, ask Aragorn. He might know a thing or two. Oh, still here.
No. What you got?
Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
As with all the runic attacks, some are inspired from old Kratos animations and abilities, but others feel like references, like, my spears will blot out the sun with this one. I really dig that Heimdall doesn't even try to hurt us until we land our first attack on him. The build up to actually landing a hit. First, he can dodge everything, then just a block, and then... Oh, so satisfying.
I don't remember the last time anyone hit me.
Most of our attacks now will be landing. Brock did say, overload his senses. The spear was the first way of doing that, but just the single fact that we landed a punch is enough for his arrogance to get in the way and make him sloppy. Psych Warfare. One of the best boss fights of the game, too. I want to fight more gods!
Wait. What is going on in that empty little head?
Not even Heimdall understands what is happening. The man who can read the minds of others. Kratos is defying everything right now. His form, godly powers, prophecy.
Oh, now I am definitely going to gut him.
See? Heimdall wasn't planning to kill Loki. It was all the Norns playing Kratos, kind of like Mimir said. Well played, Norns. Oh, right on, Kratos. Such a small movement to explode his arm. And leave it to the first weapon of Spartan learns to be the weapon that kills the first Norse god in this game. Took his Greek instincts to do it. Heimdall's arm looks like it's made up of straight Bifrost. Or at least very similar to the Einhjar's colors. Like he's channeling energy directly from Valhalla to lizard back his arm.
Don't you know who I am?
Don't you know who Kratos is?
I'm a god of war.
Mimir is flung off and forced to see firsthand. Or head. The god that Kratos used to be. For Kratos standards, that was quite a tame kill. Yeah, he still killed a god, but I'd say Heimdall got off light. Only lost one limb in the fight and just died of a choke. Can't say the same for Poseidon, Helios, Hermes, Hercules, Hades, really all of them. Oh, wait, Hera. Hera got a good one. Shows his growth as a character too, just efficiency in the killing without the spectacle. That was actually a flub by Christopher Judge, missing the horn the first time. But Eric Williams thought it was perfect for Kratos to be a little jarred after what he just did. Which is why performance capture is so impactful and important in video games. I know it's expensive and not everyone can do it, but it pays off in dividends when they can. The improvisation and mistakes often heighten a scene. Creating art is often controlled chaos, and trying to make it perfect should be the goal, but never the destination.
Freya's boat.
And guess who freaking made it? I just noticed that Kratos and Atreus' eyes look like Skull and Hati's. Light and dark. Opposites, but bound together.
We're flying!
They fly now!
He left me no choice.
Love the motif not resolving and having a bit of dissonance at the sight of Gjallarhorn.
Well, happy Ragnarok, everybody! Let's drink.
God damn it, Brock. The fuck is Sauron doing here?
I said, quiet, boy.
My name is...
Fuck yeah, standing up to Thor like that is some big Greek energy. Even in the wake of Heimdall's death, Ragnarok finds a way to keep the adventure angle of the game alive and well. Atreus' first bar fight. Even Mjolnir seems drunk trying to find its way back to Thor. This sequence just finds more ways to keep having fun. For a moment I was going to say, oh, the sentient weapons are down there brawling, but actually it's Ingrid trying to keep Mjolnir away from Thor. With a sword prophesized to kill Surtur, I wouldn't count it out to block a little hammer.
Just put down the...
Well, technically he listened.
We're here for you. Mom and I are here for you.
I really wanted more Thor, more exploration into their relationships. It'll always floor me to see a god struggle with problems that hit so close to home for me. Also, Bear McCreary, so beautiful. It's been a while since I mentioned him. Oh no, I know what's about to happen. Yep, good job, Thor. Straight comedy, though, listening to all the sounds and a random scream inside. And hey, he doesn't have to snap to get the hammer back. It was all just for show. This matters for his character, I promise.
I don't need you to solve my family problems for me. Just find the mask. Let's get out of here.
Through all this conversation in Niflheim, you can really hear in Thor's voice that he's softening up on Loki.
No thinking.
It's better when I know it's gonna happen.
Oh, they're bonding.
Gotcha.
Might be the fastest Chekhov's gun I've seen lately.
None of us are safe, even here.
Is that a sneaky threat?
Oh, so you expect them to sneak into Asgard, blowing a horn that sounds across all the realms?
I expect you to bite my blue butt cheek.
Shortcuts always have a price.
Always. Something I learned a long time ago that stuck with me is that it wouldn't be called a shortcut if it was the best route. Then it would just be called the way.
And we needed to give Loki time to find his destiny.
Loki? Oh, you done f***ed up.
Talking to you!
I literally gasped when this happened, and that doesn't happen often with me. Of course it would be Brock who figures it out, though. He's the realest one of everybody and shoots straight. Saw right through Tyr being shifty. Of course Freyr's goofy nature would use the oldest trick in the book. The smoke rolling in focuses us more on these two, but also it's like the forge is blowing out in sadness for Brock's death.
And I forgive you. She got his job. You gotta let go.
That goddamn motif ruins me. Brock's death ruined me for a good bit. Of anybody that would have gone, it was always going to be him that would have hit the hardest, and Cory Barlog knew it. For the first time we're shown, and Sindri doesn't care to hide his stepping between the realms. Really highlights his grief. The quiet after everything that transpired really puts us in Atreus' shoes, giving us space with him to take in all that just happened.
We have been wounded. And this is a distraction.
And that's okay. Sometimes we need time and space, like Mimir just said. I get where he's coming from, but come on, mate.
He's not only dead, he's been denied an afterlife.
Really? You just had the twisted knife, Santa Monica? Oh, even his open world model has a sad face.
Sindri no longer wearing his gloves. Just completely shattered.
You just kept taking. And now what have I got? Not even my family.
Adam John Harrington devastates me with his performance, and I'm sure a lot of you thought the same thing I did right away. I thought we were your family. Everything surrounding Brock's death is peak Ragnarok. And that's the price of war. Not everyone gets a happy ending, and Atreus had to learn that the hard way, what everyone else already knew about Odin. Lost family and a best friend. I showed this cutscene to my partner and gave her just the cliff notes, and she almost cried. If that's not a testament to the acting, music, and core of our humanity that Santa Monica taps into, I don't know what is.
So what you can do is get the f*** out of my sight.
Cursed to the presence of Brock. Working on Brock's blade, probably doing all the things he wished he could have in Brock's life. Desperately trying to put things back together, to forge what's been broken. And with that, he's using Brock's hammer. Gloves off. As actor Adam John Harrington said, in grief or in loss, people, they take on the characteristics of that person that's gone as a way to keep them alive.
More than that, we have only one way to Asgard, and it's not subtle.
Yellow.
As a man that was to blow the horn, Kratos crosses Hildisvini to be center stage. Blocking is subtle, but important.
No Jotunheim.
That leaves only Svartalfheim.
I'll go to Svartalfheim. Sindri?
Setting up the reverse Gandalf charge.
Good luck to us all.
My man Freyr. There are two types of people that drink. Alcoholics and drunks. Freyr's an alcoholic. Getting shit done while toasted. Thor, on the other end. I'm kidding, I know it's not like that. Alcoholism's a problem, trust me, I understand. But funny you two, man, gotta make a jest.
I unlocked the secrets in his shrine when I was in Muspelheim with Thor.
Thor.
Don't worry, you didn't see me go in.
That was not my worry.
You know I mentioned I'm wanting more development with Thor and that this game brings Norse myths to the forefront? I lied. At the end of the day, Ragnarok stays focused on its most principal characters and themes, not using spectacle or fan service and hype to carry their title. I think many of us will look back in a couple years. Of course we wanted God of War 3 2.0, but we'll be happy Santa Monica showed restraint and gave us this title. Looks like Surtur sits upon his own iron throne.
We seek a fire giant.
Go away.
I think we found him. Surtur believes he's bound to his fate, but without Sinmara, he's been stuck trying to forge the blade he must use at Ragnarok himself, failing constantly to procure a blade that'll do the job. As the hole widens, it makes a cute little makeshift heart.
Have you ever been in love? It's pretty good.
Chris Browning, I really would have loved to see more of him. I think that's been a running theme in this video. Everything is so great. We all just want more, and that's a feat not every game can achieve.
Wait. Those blades. May I see them? Oh yeah, there's primordial fire in those.
It is the great piece of regret and shame that Kratos carries that now offers solace to a relationship that was doomed to die. He picked up the blades out of love for his son, and now they're coming back to save a man's wife. Its form is the same, but its nature has transcended what they were in the Greek era. The biggest theme I believe Ragnarok is, one, if not both, can change, even if they don't at the same time or ever.
Put those in here, and I'll become your monster.
Very specific choice of words. Surtur is basically becoming Kratos' old self through this choice, being the creature that will destroy a pantheon because of a woman he loves. Kratos holding his blades in astonishment that, once again, they're helping, just like Atreus said.
This is beautiful.
Sometimes loving someone is about choosing the lesser pain.
Santa Monica cared about making a game that spoke straight to our souls, the truth in that statement. At least for me, it rings as true as Odin needing knowledge to live. Oh, I gotta say it again. This is so pretty.
Combine them, you get Ragnarok.
From doing everything in our power to avoid Ragnarok to now causing it. Love no matter what in Norse media, everyone chooses to cause it. always fulfilling the prophecy. Dude screaming like he just got the best hit ever.
Valkyries!
Odin must have sent them!
At this point, Odin knows. If anything, it's going to take one Valkyrie each to take down these Greco-Norse gods. You ready? We've got a gold and green Valk. Gold faces Kratos for the opulence that Greek culture exuded in the previous games, a spit in his face. Green faces down Atreus, as he's the one who wants to bring peace and people together and help make Kratos the rebuilder. Still championing him like Odin has done the entire game. Alright, GamingWins, tinfoil hat off. Neat that their health bars are entwined, being sisters and all that. Though it's happening to me, I'll always be a champion of combo attacks. I have to. The blades have always been my favorite weapon, and this is my favorite runic. It's so satisfying every time.
Get away from me!
They were 100% d***ing Kratos. Without Atreus, who's to say what would have happened? And Atreus turning into his Bjorn form? Couldn't be better with these two gods of power and destruction. So close to being on beat with the music, and I bet they wanted so bad to do it, but thought it would have been corny. But I wanted it. You know, the sauce has already been won, but I think I'll do it again.
So, you fought in a lot of wars, right? You've never had anything like Ragnarok on your side?
I have. And the creature does not guarantee our victory.
Referencing Guy and the Titans.
We've some time before we're expected at the temple.
This could be our last chance, Father.
Truer words have never been spoken.
I see the Valkyries.
Better than that. They are reborn. Corporeal and uncorrupted.
So all that pain and suffering of the Valk fights last game technically paid off here.
A leader.
That honor is yours.
To really bring things full circle and close out Kratos' arc, it was to bring him back as a general, to succeed as such, and not give in to his own personal glories, which was set up at the opening of the game with Atreus asking him to think like a general.
I'd like to spend it feeling something besides hate. Will you tell me one last silly story?
Oh, I want one last story. Oh, we're gonna get it from Daddy. I always love every time Kratos pulls out the axe and has a moment with it, especially coming off of Mir and Sigrun being lovebirds. He's for sure thinking about her.
Can I sleep here tonight?
Of course you can! I was hoping for it, and Santa Monica is the king of wish fulfillment when it comes to emotional side of things. Spectacle? They blew their load with God of War 3, which is great. But bigger doesn't always mean better. We got bigger and better with this duology in a different form than God of War 3, if you follow me.
You must quiet your mind.
I can't.
Then I will tell you a story.
Kratos finally does what I imagine he never did for Atreus growing up, telling a bedtime story. All the way they tease that Kratos will die, and him doing the one thing every parent does for their kid really sold me on the idea.
If I fall asleep, promise you'll finish it tomorrow?
And there's the nail in the coffin. They set up the expected gun punch of his death as an easy layup, not being able to finish the story.
Death arrived.
Viewing scenes like these in the context of the entire franchise hurts me in the best way. Seeing Kratos reflect and be this honest just made me shed a tear rewatching to write the script. Yes, I'm soft. You can't count out Bear's score either.
Death arrived.
A masterpiece score.
Every evening he bore the logs on his back. He threw down the logs as he could no longer bear their weight. And when death arrived,
Kratos for the first time looks at death and wishes for it not to come to him. His entire existence after killing Zeus has been wanting to die, and Atreus brings him back when he's at the precipice. You can also look at this from the Greek side of things. Thanatos is the Greek personification of death, i.e. Kratos, and he tells a story while his son falls asleep. Hypnos is the twin brother of Kratos, whom the former is the god of sleep. I've mentioned many times of these two being mirrors, perfect opposites, and entwined poetically. Here's just another analog to that. Kratos explicitly says, throw down the logs, as he could no longer bear their weight. I see him talking about Faye's death, in a way, not wanting to go on after the woman who saved him passed. We open 2018 with him bearing a log on his back. ready to burn Faye's body, to mourn with Atreus. Another way to read this scene, judging by Kratos' reaction after not being able to finish the story, is that he's torn up that he's willing to walk into death's call, and is going to do it for Atreus' sake.
There is much time ahead of us.
I wish to better a future that will exist without me.
Heimdall could see people's intentions in the short term. Faye is looking across at least a decade of the future and taking action positively. I like that Santa Monica doesn't condemn knowledge as a strictly negative trait, as we see Faye use hers for the most absolute good.
Culmination of love is grief.
Maybe Vision was onto something. I love the sentiment as it really helps those of us who struggle after the passing of a loved one. Grief is a part of life and something I love that's being highlighted more in the media. Grief can be expressed in so many different ways. Being sad and mopey isn't the only one. We can celebrate, we can laugh, we can revel a loved one's passing even. My favorite thing about seeing these two on screen together is how much of an equal I view them as. I don't know what Santa Monica did, but damn does Faye have presence.
To grieve deeply is to have loved fully.
After a moment of the woman singing, we get the male choir that joins in the music, showing that Kratos does take in her words.
What's going on?
It is time.
Okay, sorry. Great moments and all, but I couldn't be the only one thinking these motherfuckers have morning breath and smell disgusting, I'm sure.
I'll meet you outside, Father. Sir.
From family to soldier. We've got now Atreus and Kratos' themes both playing. More so, both fighting for control of Kratos, of his soul, on what he plans to be in Ragnarok. Oh, I love that for Ragnarok. We all got matching outfits.
General?
Sir.
Hey, bud. General.
Never change, Freyr.
Prophecy did not lead us here. Nor will it win this battle. Wars are won by those that are willing to sacrifice everything.
A glimpse of the Kratos we never truly got to see.
If that is the cost of vengeance, so be it.
Visually, we're being set up that Kratos will sacrifice Freya, if not Atreus.
If going out in a blaze of glory means that Odin burns too, that's where I'll be.
Little does he know how prophetic his own words will be. Symphonically, thematically, everything. It may have been paced strangely, but I was ready for this.
Ready yourselves.
What the hell do I even say? Everyone's already fighting. Time works differently between realms. For those that know the lore, this was a giant red herring that Ragnarok would turn more in our favor than it did.
Freya, with me. Watch our flanks. To the war machines.
Right away, you hear the music that the war already isn't going well, and bears so much doubt that our Norse characters undoubtedly share.
Good. Desperation is our advantage.
Would have preferred a realm-destroying fire giant, but I suppose...
From all Mimir's dialogue throughout Ragnarok, it's obvious he's never experienced warfare from the front lines. He gives great contrast to Kratos' surefire nature. A little carnage that we have no control over to remind us that this battle reaches beyond us.
Jormungandr! A welcome sight!
Sneaky Boy doesn't have all the allergy on him since he's not been spying it up in the Lake of Nine yet.
Sindri won't let us down. We have to trust him.
Rally all you can.
Gotta trust your family, no?
The dwarves are here! Way to go, Sindri! Ah, it's just Sindri!
See what I meant about Gandalf?
You don't get to use us anymore.
Wars are won by those who are willing to sacrifice everything.
The camera doesn't draw attention to it, but Kratos looks at Sindri on that line, seeing his pain and what his teachings have wrought. He's violently reminded of what Faye taught him.
You feel their pain because that is who you are. must never sacrifice that. Never. Not for anyone. I was wrong, Atreus.
A rare moment indeed, Mimir wanted to say.
Open your heart. Open your heart to their suffering. That is your mother's wish. And mine as well.
And it is this moment everyone points to as when Kratos truly changed prophecy. And it's entirely driven from what Atreus forced Kratos to go through. Without him, without Faye, without having an open heart to others, then Kratos, then we can't change. And that's what I truly take away from Ragnarok.
Today, we will be better.
Our payoff to the line that Kratos uttered to Atreus in the direction of Deer.
We will breach the wall at Hrimthur's Flaw.
With what army?
Atreus and I will be enough.
Just kidding. What Kratos really meant is that the two of them are going to be better than Ragnarok. Physically. Like, they're Ragnarok. The two of them, they're going to take him. Yeah.
It may be. But we will die seeking justice, not vengeance.
A character arc almost 2 decades in the making, coming to a close. Have I mentioned that Atreus' combat feels great? Oh, I did? Like an hour ago? Cool. Hey, in the background you can see the two F siblings actually holding back Ragnarok. Even though he's getting his ass beat, love to see him using his brother's blade.
Can't let it control me.
Atreus only goes Bjorn when he's real mad. Though Sindri wants Atreus to eat coal, this is what family does for each other. In this moment, Atreus' theme is using dwarven instruments. Fair, you've done it again.
What? You want to thank you?
No, I just want...
I don't care what you want. This changes nothing.
Sindri. I love how they wrote him after Brock. We all think a conversation or two and some logical understanding will bring us all together Kumbaya style. And we all know it's not that simple. Not in the slightest. I understand Sindri, and it pains me to say I do. He may be just the best written character in this game.
You really had me believing you that we didn't have to be enemies.
Dude, you're okay.
Loki, that motherfucking trickster playing all sides. No, I know he actually cares. Blocking callback to their first meeting. This is not the time to mention it, but straight up, the Norse love tattooing kids, and they do a bang-up job doing it.
He said we owed him.
Ha! What he meant to say is, he's Odin, and your promise doesn't mean shit.
You don't owe him your death.
No shit.
As cringe as no shit was, Santa Monica brought that callback back tastefully.
Are you ready to go find the rest of your people?
Yeah.
There's a whole arc in there for both of them, but we just don't have time to explore it. Lots think it should have been a trilogy, and it could have been easy to do so, but the story that was at focus and worth telling was Kratos and Atreus, and I commend Santa Monica for keeping that vision instead of trying to franchise again. Of all the people trying to tear down Odin's wall, it had to have been the dwarves, with how he used them throughout the amount of gifts they bestowed upon the gods. You might think Mimir, Freya, or Hildisvíni went through some shit with Odin, but at the core of Asgard, it's always been the dwarves. To have just one bring down his walls is more cathartic than I expected. We basically break down Odin's front door. This is his realm tower entrance, after all. Straight respect between warriors. They don't need words to have understanding.
You fight well.
My dad taught me.
That much is clear.
Straight up respect for his fight with Thor, too. Bear really brings us into the end times musically. Like, this feels like the end of the world. Once again, for those who know the lore, his sword should destroy Surtur, but it hasn't. Sowing doubt, you might say? Big payoff win. Plus, troll soundbite. If you don't know what I mean by that, listen to this. And then go watch any troll scene in Lord of the Rings. It's all based on horses.
And this time, I'm allowed to kill you.
About time I get a chance to show off again. But really, Ragnarok gets as close to not wanting this fight to happen. Same like Naughty Dog did with Abby and Ellie. I'll never get over the smaller Kratos manhandling Thor. They were so close to showing Kratos turning Mjolnir against him. But him having the strength to use physics and fulcrum it back to Thor is inspired, though. This was also a bait, knowing Thor wouldn't fuck around with anyone playing with his hammer.
Yeah, no. Bad call. He loves his hammer.
Also, using an old wound as an advantage. Who's to say Thor is invulnerable to otherworldly magic? Kratos isn't one to tempt fate. You know what I mean.
You attack my daughter! No! I did not. You bring this to my home!
So this is Drunk Thor. Very obvious. I hate to bring it up, but it's true to life. These trappings can't escape even gods. When they're in that state, they will believe whatever narrative fits/fills their head. There is no reasoning with someone that far gone. I do appreciate that even when we get it's cinematic as hell. They could not help themselves from showing Kratos' power over Mjolnir. And it's Kratos' signature move to use his opponent's weapon against them. Just look at, I don't know, pretty much everyone he's killed. Brock coming in! Remember Heimdall? So sexy not to win. Oh my god, they're lightsaber dueling right now. Of course, once again, for that wound. I love the attention to detail. It shows that Kratos is tactical and isn't just a rage monster. Interesting. Look at the lightning around the knife. When Kratos removes it, either it's Thor exudes thunder or he sees where boy's coming from and starts to subscribe and drop the lightning.
Don't you know what I've done? Yes!
But what will you do now?
We don't change. Destroy us!
Such a small detail, but that's what we're all about. Thor says this summoning his hammer without a snap. Similar to how after he got wasted, he called Mjolnir without a snap. Without the bravado. Without the performance for Odin.
We must be better.
The one-shot camera elevates the scene here. Keeps us on edge seeing the hammer raised. Then brings us relief as he drops it. Love Chris Judge, but I hate that he looks like it's his turn to play on the Xbox.
What is this? Are you broken? I am your father.
100% a Star Wars reference. He even almost says it like you know who. Gotta avoid spoilers, the new gen is coming. The cycle can't be broken with Odin. Fathers killing sons.
Dude, this was all their fault. They've done this to us.
I fucking give Odin props for trying to manipulate her even when she saw straight up what happened. Okay, he can wield Mjolnir. Hope his fight is as cool as that.
You turned him against me. You turned them all against me.
Sorry, but Odin really sounded like...
You turned her against me.
I don't think I've mentioned it, but better late than never. The audio every time you parry is sexy as hell. Odin is throwing the entire kitchen sink at us, and what I mean by that is the Bifrost itself. At least he uses that spear he teased against Tyr against us. Gungear's putting in work. Ah, the news came back.
Think you're the only one who can craft a binding spell?
Comeuppance.
Ask it the question.
This is your choice, son. I trust you.
Atreus having complete agency finally over himself, with his father backing him up.
Me, old what did you call me? That one's for draw.
Damn, is it cool seeing Freya fight alongside us when we remember where she was when we started the game. Using his mother's marble to house Odin. Even Faye plays an active role in the final fight. Instead of Kratos losing his soul in Atreus' arms, it's Odin. So the prophecy was kind of right.
That's what comes next.
Everyone grieves differently, and Sindri has a long way to go before he's whole again. Freyr and his sword were fated to kill Surtur, and in the myth, he doesn't have his blade come Ragnarok. Now he does, and Santa Monica keeps true to the part of the story of having him die. For once, it's Atreus shoving Kratos out of harm's way.
No shit. No shit.
No shit. Callback, callback.
You are a formidable warrior.
If that's not the most moving gesture, then I don't know what is.
You're basically another dad to me.
What?
No. I need you to hear it.
I love you too, little brother.
See you, Mimir.
I'm not crying, you're crying. This entire walk up the mountain is basically a curtain call for the game, and I'd say Santa Monica earned it.
We forged our own path because of her.
Get you a partner like Faye, people.
You are ready.
Boy is now man. Calling back to the last scene we saw of Kratos and Faye.
Loki will go. Atreus. Atreus remains.
Who the hell is cutting onions? I swear to God. So beautiful and such a strong ending for these two. We didn't need a trilogy to have this moment work. And why I think games transcend most media for emotional storytelling. You get to spend so much longer with these characters and have active roles in their stories. Kratos is like, alright, time to be men. The dolly zoom when they hug. Kratos is remembering that love he has for Faye and is happy to see Loki fighting that himself. Loki even exited stage left, keeping in with the theater theming from the Norns. The music here sets us up for some kind of sequel bait. Kratos finally is a god that is worshipped. He finally will get to understand that love that Odin taunted him about. Going from the god of war to a god of peace and reconstruction, Kratos becomes what we saw of the real Tyr in the first game. And this reaction from Kratos, beautiful. He really is redeemed and finally believes that himself. He saved the realms instead of destroying them this time. And it's all painted over with that golden paint of Faye, showing once again that Kratos subverted fate. And this is quite possibly the most vulnerable we've ever seen the man. Alone, crying. Real men cry!
What's to rebuild?
Kratos has finally become what Odin should have been all along.
Would you join me?
And in classic Kratos fashion, steals his girl too. Just like the end of the last game, we work our way back down a mountain during the credits. Sindri made it!
I love you.
One more time. Bear McReary, people. God, does it hurt to see Sindri like this. From his joking, lighthearted nature to this broken man. It's so sad, but executed so well. Brock is given all the customs of a Viking funeral. Brock was. Last thing Sindri needs to hear right now.
A hole. What? Gets bigger the more you take away.
Well, damn. It only took Brock dying for Mimir to figure it out. What a f***ing way to end a game. Oh my god. That is how I feel knowing that this duology has come to a close. And we have no idea if or when there will be another game. Whether it will be centered around Kratos or Atreus. Either way, I'll be there for it. God of War Ragnarok is proof that a game doesn't need to be perfect in every aspect for it to be amazing. This is my game of the year. I can't wait, after some time has passed, to revisit these two games and cry all over again. It's a story that takes place in this fantastical realm with talking squirrels and magic hammers, but brings home a story more human and touching than most we see nowadays. Ragnarok felt like a labor of love, the choice not to stretch it out to a third game, making Atreus playable, the attention to Norse mythology. Santa Monica has earned its place as among the greats of gaming developers. This studio has been working on God of War exclusively for the last 20 years. Almost as long as I've been alive, people have been laboring over Kratos to make him the best character he can be. I can't imagine the love they almost share with each other, how much of a family they've become. A family they got to choose, continue to choose every day. Family isn't blood. Look at Freya. Even with what Kratos did, soon enough, she became a part of his family. She's able to change, drop her hatred, and try to be better. This duology is a perfect reminder that we all can change, that we aren't our worst impulses, that our worst mistakes don't define us, that we can be better, we can choose to be. There is nothing in the entire world that prevents that but ourselves. We are all our own worst enemy. No one can get in the way better than yourself. Look at Odin, for example. Look how Kratos was to Atreus as he was growing up, and then how they are now. Open your hearts to their suffering. Open your heart to your suffering. Forgive yourself, love yourself, and proliferate that feeling. You help one person, you help everybody. Because of Atreus' unyielding love for his father, the Norse realms will continue. Through helping Kratos learn to love again, to open his heart, he helped everyone. Love deeply, and love strongly. Find your family. Because after all, what else is there?